Here we go. Commander Shadowsun, the new model in all its glory. So this is what we have today. It's the new Commander Shadowsun model for the Tau Empire. I do have a Tau army. It's probably my biggest army, maybe my Primaris, but anyway, this is what we have today. So as you can see, it's a very reflective coating. So we're just going to cut the plastic off, which should help reduce the glare from the lights. There we go, and by help, not at all. Anyway, so inside this box, well, if you have a look at the back of it there, you get the general idea of what's going on. The rules for this new model are in the Greater Goods Psychic Awakening book. I'm assuming they'll do a new codex at some point in the future and it'll be in that, but as far as I'm aware, you can still use the old rules if you want. And fairly large base, flight stands for the drones, and it is on one set of double small sprues, which is nice. Lots of skulls. Now her foot, that's one thing there straight away, the foot is attached to the base. So let's just get a close-up of the sprue first. This has a lot of the base on it, some arms. And there really isn't too much to this. This has some of the faces on it too, so if I spin that around you can see the heads. You know, there's not a lot to this model, considering there's also two drones in it as well. So, that goes probably the basis for the drones, the drone hats. Yeah, I mean it is a very, very simple model, so if you follow the instructions, you'll end up with this. And you've also got the two little drones, which I'll pop on just for show. And they don't really detract anything from the model, but they're nice. Now, you do have a couple of options with this model. You get a choice of heads. I went for the helmet because I always try to put helmets on everything. Now, that's a completely superficial choice. Another choice you get is whether or not to equip the guns as the, hang on, let me just get the wording correct. The dispersed fusion blaster or the high energy fusion blaster. So you get a piece like this that goes on the back of the gun. I'll show you this in a second. Or this. Those are the two choices. I'm probably using these ones because they look better, but what we'll do is we'll spin her around and you'll get a good view of everything. I should get a motorized turntable at some point, but you know, it's a really nice pose actually. I don't normally like dynamic action poses, but this one really does stand out. Now, one thing to note is that the leg is attached to the masonry all by itself. You can't glue it on, so if you wanted her in a different, you know, if you wanted to basically cut that off, you would literally need to cut it off. It's not a question of not sticking it onto it, which, you know, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'll probably run with this. I may not use the skulls at the base. I'm not a big fan of skull bases. If I was doing a corn army, obviously there'd be skulls everywhere, but normally I wouldn't. So I shall just get these drones and pop them right to the back. Oh. And we can edit all this out later. So what I'm going to do, okay, so this whole model, the base is held together with poster putty, and now I've attached this with poster putty. So those are the two guns. It doesn't say which one's which in the build instructions. It just says there's a choice. So if anyone says one's officially one and one's officially the other, I'm going to assume, just for the sake of assumptions, that this one is going to be the dispersed fusion blaster because there are two, And this one is going to be the high energy fusion blaster because there are one. That to me is logical and makes sense. Therefore it's probably wrong. But we'll go with it anyway. I'm going to use these ones. I think they just look that little bit better. Those are nice. But this just adds more bulk to the bottom of the gun, which I think I prefer. Now something else I wanted to say about this model was the way Games Workshop are doing their models now is they're using lots of smaller pieces because they can get more detail, I think. Like for example, both legs, the lower leg consists of 3 pieces, which normally they would be 1, maybe the whole leg would be 1, but there are 3 pieces in that lower leg, 3 pieces in that lower leg. That's got a thigh piece, that's got 2 thigh pieces. You know, there's lots of places where they're adding more detail than maybe strictly needed. But I think this is a good thing. I like the detail. Now the only problem is it does mean there are more mold lines to deal with. So when you're building it up, it's worth taking the time as you're building. You know, you glue the 3 pieces together for the lower leg to get your either craft knife or your mold line scraper and gently fix all the mold lines, not the mold lines, the joins that you get as you're building it up, because they will end up in, like that one there would be kind of hard to get to from some angles. But if you do it separately, you know, you can get most of the mold lines off and most of the join lines off. I've probably still got a few in the gun today. I wanted to file that down a bit more after I got the I don't know what even part you call it, the ammunition maybe? I don't know. Fuel source. But it's a very nice model and very fitting for Commander Shadowsun. We're going to go over the rules here just briefly. So I don't really care what's changed from the codex entry. What I'm going to look at here are the 2 weapon options. So you've got a dispersed fusion blaster and the high energy fusion blaster. The high energy one gives you an extra 6 inches of range. The dispersed gives you 2 shots. There's a strength 7 versus a strength 8, so the dispersed has 1 lower strength. They've got the same AP, and the dispersed has D3 damage instead of a D6 damage. And they've both got the standard rule where if you're within half range, you roll the extra dice and take the higher. So both good. It just depends how you want to play her. The other interesting thing is she's got this new flechette launcher, which is a 18-inch pistol 5, so 5 shots from the pistol. It's only strength 3, but compare that to the pulse pistol, which is 12-inch range, 1 shot, strength 5. So she comes with both of those. Now the real thing that I want to talk about here in the rules is the Supreme Commander effect. So what this means is this model can be included in a Tau Empire detachment without preventing other units not detachment from gaining the Sept tenet. So you can, she is, as you see in her keywords, wherever the keywords are, yeah, over here, she is Tau Sept locked. So she does not count as your Sept choice. She is locked to Tau Sept, but you can still take her in your detachment. The problem with that is the Master of War ability affects the Sept. So as written, the rules say you take her in your Sept. If you're Viorla, she cannot use Master of War to affect Viorla Sept units. That's the rules as written. It kind of defeats the purpose of having the Supreme Commander. So I think this will get fact. If it doesn't get fact, then it's a bit disappointing. It should really be, whether they change the Master of War ability to affect Tau Empire units, I think that would be nice, for the simple reason then that it would also affect Vespids and Kroot, so it makes it more flexible. But whether, if they don't want to do that, they might just say that they might just remove her Tau Sept and make her Sept locked, which I think is a better way to do it. But that's down to Games Workshop whether they want what's written, which just feels pointless and wrong, or if they intended something else. So we'll see what they come up with for that. If you've made it this far, thanks very much for watching. There's another couple of videos there you can click on. You can click on the subscribe button if you want to. Like the video if you want to. Stick a comment down if you've anything to say. And in the meantime, happy wargaming. And I'll see you next time.